good evening.
Good evening.
You already know who it is.
Who is it?
It's Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Little roll down.
Roll down.
Coming at you live from the
215.
Ni Ichi Go.
Oh, snap.
You already know.
Nihongo.
That's right. I'm out here learning Japanese for the hell of it because I can. And then one day I'll be able to watch anime with no subtitles.
No subs.
That's the GOAT right there. You know, all these subbed over dubbed things won't be a problem to me because I'll have transcended. Anyway, I am not by myself.
Nope.
Before we get over to Jayhawk, we have some guests.
Hey.
They're not guests, they're friends. If they wanted to walk into our bar, they could take whatever they liked because they are the blurs on the street.
That's on the street.
Yeah.
And go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jillian. I've been here a couple times before.
Yeah.
Walk in here like you own the place.
Yeah, you know.
Hi, I'm Lily. I've been here once before. Haven't made it to all of the barbecues, but I'm here for this one.
That's right, because when you're here, you're family. Legally, we can't say that. All right, that's enough. Jayhawk, talk.
Yo. Hello, everybody. Tis I, hailing from the land of sake, shinobi, and samurais. The boy is Godzilla personified. Ain't no other name but this to go by. It's your boy, Jayhawk.
Jayhawk? You didn't do the sound. There we go.
Well, I didn't do your sound.
You didn't do mine. You can do mine now.
Because, you didn't finish your thing. You just.
Oh, yeah, no.
But there you
You
go.
want me to do that? You want me to finish my
And no,
thing?
I mean, whatever you want.
I'm the comic book connoisseur, your sommelier of sci-fi and superheroes, here to welcome you to another episode of BNR.
BNR.
That's right. We act different when we got guests.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Do you?
We do. I would like to think so.
Jillian's like, I've heard your content.
Right.
Do you?
She's like,
I'm here
every once in a while I put on an episode. Right. She pays attention. She's like, do you really? But we are happy to have you guys. We're going to jump right into the booze. Because if you look at the color of these drinks
Drink.
and the background, obviously you know this is a BNR about the She-Hulk. And we are drinking the
Attorney at
cocktail
law.
of She-Hulk. Joshua, tell us how this was made.
So this is made with Grand Marnier, which is a cognac and orange liqueur mix. It's pretty fancy. And then, of course, you get your Hypnotic, which is always fun in a glass.
Oh, no, show them the bottle.
I mean,
Just for proof.
I'm sure I'm doing like
Oh, you're going to do a thing.
probably.
Okay. We're doing a thing. That's fine.
The
I'm
magic
sorry.
of editing.
Where the magic happens.
So yeah, you mix it. It calls for 4 ounces of Grand Marnier, 4 ounces of Hypnotic. Stir it up to make it transform. You really don't have to stir it.
You don't.
To make it green. It kind of just does it on its own. But if you want a well balanced drink, you can do it that way. I don't know if we did exactly 4 ounces because I don't know if our glasses were tall enough for that. But
These are 2 ounces. So if you did one,
did. I did equal parts.
I did
1.
Yeah, I did 4.
Welcome
Did
to
you
the
do
math
for what?
portion.
Yeah.
Wait,
I did 4 and 4.
did you?
Nope.
Are you lying?
Nope.
1 plus 1. Plus 1.
I am not.
Plus 2.
He's like, are you lying? No, you just put a lot of ice in there.
But
Mathing out here.
that is the She-Hulk, and now we're gonna give it a good old taste. And
I've given it already a taste, but
Oh.
I'll try one more time.
Cool. So yeah, this should be interesting. I've had the Hulk before, which is just Hennessy and Hypnotic. I thought that was a fun
Whoa.
time, but that was
Wow.
also that had to be like at least a decade ago. So who knows? Maybe my
And then
my tongue
never
has
again.
matured, right? So what do you think?
I think my taste buds have matured past this. It's a fun time when you first try it, right? You're like, oh, different. But if common sense has not yet left you, you say, oh no, you don't do this more than that one time. Because if you knock back more than one of these, this is the worst experience that I could feel you have in your life. It's nothing. This screams hangover to me.
Is it because? Are you talking about the sweetness of it?
It's just sugar. It's just sugar.
Well, then just pace yourself. You know, I had a
I'm-
pretzel.
I've eaten food today. I'm just saying, this does not seem like more than one. You try it for the name, and then that's it.
I think it actually very much reminds me of the Incredible Hulk, which is interesting because I thought the orange would come through a bit more.
And it doesn't.
It doesn't. But like they play well together.
Well, I mean, the Hypnotic's tropical too.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I can taste the Hypnotic, and I'm guessing I can taste the. I've never had Grand Marnier straight. This is actually probably the first time I've had it, so I'll probably do that, you know, by itself a little bit later. But what would you rate it?
A 2.
Wow.
I'm not
Out
one.
of 10 or out of 5?
Out of 5.
Out of 5.
Out of 5.
Oh,
We do
okay,
5. We do 5 here because I feel like once you get into 10, it starts getting messy. But if I had to do out of 10, it's probably still a 2.
It's so funny.
That math is not math.
That math is not mathing, but it's working for me. Yeah, I just feel like I've grown up, and I don't think this is for me often. Like this, if this is being served somewhere, and like this is the free cocktail of the evening,
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock back like 2. After that, I'm like, can I have some water? Like
That's
a lot of
sweet.
water.
So if you were like, say, at your favorite cousin's wedding, and that was like the signature cocktail,
2.
that one's free. That one's free, but you have to
Wait,
cash
a
bar
cash
everything
bar
else.
wedding. Hold on. Hold
I have
on.
to make it a challenge.
She's
All
making
right,
it a
sorry.
challenge. Yeah.
It's a
Sorry,
challenge.
sorry.
Are you still only at 2?
Oh, I'm at 2.
Okay.
I'm ginger ale and Shirley Temples for the rest of the night. Like it's not
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And
like-
I'm probably lying because at a wedding the expectation is just kind of be loosey goosey, but I'm probably not staying at that wedding too long. Like that reception is not going to be a thing that I'm staying at if this is what you're serving
Okay.
as the drink.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm a bit different. The sweetness doesn't bother me that much, but I have been told that I have a sweet palate when it comes to drinks anyway. So like my cousin makes a joke all the time, like if there's an umbrella in the drink, it's probably mine. Like so, so it is.
My
what
wife
it
would probably
is.
agree with you that that's probably us in general.
So I actually give it now. I do wish that there was a bit more like oomph to it, like maybe like carbonated a bit, like give you
Maybe
something to feel
carbonated.
like so that you can like wash down like bread with or something like that. So I would give this I give it a 3. I don't hate it. I could drink this mostly all night.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have moved on from the booze portion. If you guys ever get a chance to make the She-Hulk or the Incredible She-Hulk drink, the ingredients obviously will be posted in the notes.
Real quick, every time we say She-Hulk, I think of the title because it's like She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, and I think of Harvey Birdman. So it's like She-Hulk,
Oh, yeah.
Attorney at Law.
Nice little segue there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we get to the review, because I know we're itching to get there, we want to do some news. So very briefly here, Alan Moore has taken to the internet to simply hate anyone that does anything with his work. So he has contacted the showrunner to never contact me again for the show The Watchmen
Oh,
on HBO. Because
which I
he-
actually recently just watched or finished, I should say.
Right. And most fans who watched it enjoyed it. However, Alan Moore was not one of them.
Oh,
and
wow.
he's just like, stop touching my stuff.
Is it because he hates black people?
It could be
Is that always
argued.
the answer?
Right. It could be argued
Does
that
he have a
Alan
robe
Moore.
in his closet?
No, it's just Alan Moore is Alan Moore. Like, he doesn't like people doing any adaptations of his stuff. He didn't enjoy the movie. He didn't
I
enjoy
mean,
the
the
HBO
movie
show.
wasn't great.
I mean,
The
who
movie wasn't
enjoyed the
great, but the movie,
I'll
like,
give him that, but yeah, it exposed people to his work. So
I was about to say, like, I thought it was interesting enough. I was like, I just wish I knew these people because you guys started this show or this movie as if I should know
know all these people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Alan Moore. I'm not too bothered about it. In different news, and by the time that you hear this review, Gotham Knights will have been out for about a few days, and
It's nothing but bugs. Just kidding. I don't know.
that's the concern. It's also that also that it's running on 30 frames per second, which is disruptive, I guess, to the.
To say the least.
It's disruptive for the fact that people are expecting anything, that's coming out now to be 60 frames per second or
I
higher.
think it's 2022.
The argument, right? The argument is made that the reason why it's stuck at 30 frames is because they focused more on the immersive multiplayer feature of being able to jump in and out of people's games. And frames does create an issue if your Xbox One versus Xbox Series X, you're running the game, but it ain't working.
Are you?
Right.
Are you running the game?
Jillian with the heat.
Sorry.
Apparently, Jillian's saying get good, upgrade, or don't play.
Get right or get
right.
left.
Exactly. We don't game shame over here, but it is what it is.
Right.
So people are canceling their pre-orders. The game's director is standing by it that they rather would make a cohesive multiplayer feature, which is the biggest draw on with this game.
Sure.
To make sure that it works, rather than having it run at a high performance level, graphics wise.
But the game's not even out yet, right? Like as of this
so people
recording.
got early editions, and that's
Sure.
where a lot of this heat is coming from. So you're thinking about review editions, and then on top of that, people who just got blessed
know.
with early releases.
I feel like that's a lot of it could be a lot of beta stuff where it's just like
I don't think the game. I think people are expecting an Arkham Knights game, or an Arkham City game, and they're not getting that. It's an RPG, and you get to play one of 4 of the Bat family. That's not Batman. If that's what you want, I'm gonna play it. I'll tell you how I feel about it. When we get there. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not upset about it. Creed 3 released a trailer, and I, for one, have never seen the first 2. I stopped after Rocky 3. And the only reason I watched Rocky 3 was because my uncle's in it. So, it wasn't enough. But it was only because my dad was like, your uncle's in this movie, watch it. And I was like, I don't really care. I never cared about Rocky. I've never cared about Rocky before that. I didn't care after about it. It is what it is. And then Creed came out, and I was like, this is more of the same. I don't think I could watch a movie about surrounding the idea of boxing.
But have you ever watched Hajime no Ippo?
Yeah.
That's good.
But it's not Creed, to me, at least not. So anyway, moving forward, this does star Jonathan Majors as the antagonist, and I'm like, all right, I guess I gotta go see Creed 3. So that's where I stand on it. I don't care for Michael B. Jordan, but he exists. He makes bank.
He's the director of it too, right?
Yeah, he's director. He's got producer credits on it, and cool, but Michael B. Jordan. It's Michael B. Jordan. He's Michael B. Jordan.
No. That was disrespectful.
I stand by it.
Disrespectful. I do not agree. Dan's views do not speak on the whole of the Blurred Box.
I said what I said. I stand by it. You got any news for us?
Just quick reviews. I just
Well, let's
finished
review parts. We're gonna before we get to reviews,
no,
because
we're
we also have to review. I have other small reviews as well.
Well, then I guess we're just doing reviews because I ain't got no news.
Okay, hold on. Well, let me ask Jillian and
Sure.
Lily if they got reviews.
Yes.
Do y'all have news? I'm sorry. Do y'all have news?
So I guess our news is, by the time this comes out, our first episode of our latest season of our podcast will have
Throw
dropped.
some air horns on that. Nope. There we go. There we go.
My bad.
Yeah, Yeah, we're starting season 3.
Yeah,
Season 3, the Redux.
exactly. Yeah. We had a summer break and now we're back.
Yeah. It's like a really long extended break. But
Yeah.
How did it feel getting back into the motions of it?
It was really
I
nice.
mean, like Jillian was like, okay, I scheduled this interview and this interview and this interview and this interview.
Oh.
Wow.
And we were like, what? Okay.
Somebody's on it.
That's right.
Content.
I'm excited. I can't wait to
Give
listen.
people what they want.
That's right.
Yeah.
Josh has
That's the
had
people.
That's enough. You're having too much fun.
That's the people. This reminds me. This is like season 1.
Right.
The buttons.
Question: is there
Yeah.
anything we can look forward to, or is everything being hush hush?
We've got a couple of exciting interviews.
Yeah?
One, we did an author of a book that blew up on TikTok. That's
Hey.
our first episode. We were able to get the author on our podcast, and then Spencer, who's a friend of the podcast, he's Simply Samurai on Instagram. He is like the longsword champion of the U.S. right now.
Hey.
He does a lot of like stunts and sword work, and then teaching people about swords, and he's really cool. We did an interview
Oh,
with
that's
him.
good.
That's coming up. And just, I mean, obviously Wakanda Forever is coming up. We've got a
Yeah.
true
Right.
review with that with the Blurred Point of View, who's a blogger, a friend of the podcast as well. And there's more
Dope.
stuff in the pipe.
Other stuff, yeah.
Wow.
Well, y'all heard it here first.
Yeah.
So don't forget to follow and subscribe to Blurred on the Street because they got stuff. They got heat
It sounds
for this
like
new
it.
season.
Sounds like it's good
I feel
stuff.
like we got to do more.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So
That's exactly what I heard. I was like, well, damn.
right, I was like, oh, we are slacking.
Jeez. Gotta get Jillian on payroll.
Right.
Right.
Apparently, she be up in people's DMs.
Right. She's working.
I do
Appreciate it.
slide in DMs, yeah.
Okay.
Not
As
for
long
the
as it's not
reason
Adam
you think.
Levine's. Right.
Purely
Right.
professional.
Right.
Purely professional.
As long as it's not Adam Levine's, because he
Oh, no.
responds different.
Oh,
so.
No.
Yeah. So some mini reviews. Josh, you had some. I'll go last.
The only mini review I have is that I finished Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Yeah.
And with it being a Trigger project, it is probably one of their best projects.
Really?
I've
I've been told to watch it, and I played the game, so I feel like I should.
Yeah, I feel like if it's not the top project that they've ever put out, it's probably like top 3 in my opinion. I was very impressed, and like, yeah, I was just like, wow, that was a good story.
All
That
right.
was great. So
I just finished Rings of Power or Ring of Power.
Okay.
Is it Rings of Power or Ring of Power?
I think it's rings.
I think it's
Natural.
plural. Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
think so.
one, the rings are made for like the men, the elves, and the dwarves. So, anyway,
Okay.
Rings of Power. I'm guessing we get a second season.
Yeah, I think they already announced it that they're filming. It's
As
like,
someone
oh.
who has, I've read the Silmarillion, and I'm like, cool. I can see how you could draw this out. Don't, but we here. Very briefly, I'll speak on like the diversity of the casting. Neither here nor there. I'm always happy to see our faces in it, but I also feel like if it's not done, if it just feels very haphazard, then it doesn't feel like it's diversity to me. Like,
do you feel, this is kind of a segue, kind of like off a tangent, so feel free to be like, I'm not answering that. Do you feel that what are they called? The Valerians? Do you think that they are a haphazard show of representation?
no, and the only reason why I would say Valerians for the House of the Dragons doesn't feel like a ham-fisted, attempt at diversity is only because like Westeros as a map has been diverse in some ways in the Game of Thrones show, They showed Dorn. Yeah, I mean, could be more, right? Could have always been more. But I felt like the Valerians was enough of that, and it felt purposeful. One, just for like storytelling, like how none of your baby's brown, like not even mulatto, like your babies look like they've never seen the sun. So that should have been enough to be like, hey, red flag. Not just the white hair, not just the blonde hair, but it should have just been like, none of them look like they've been kissed by the sun at all. Like, not even a little bit. Not even freckles on one of the babies. Like, red flags. So, I think that's why the intention was to cast, very intentfully, or with intention of, like, intentfully, right? That's not even a word. But with intention of making sure that you recognize those changes on those children for when it came up. So it was whether it was just that their skin was used for storytelling or for like diversity, it worked better in House of Dragons than it did for
I don't want to get on this because we already did that.
Right,
episode.
we already did this.
We did that episode. That was a while. That was crazy. But my only thing is, every time they talk about the strong boys, it's always about their hair. It's never about like they don't look like Valerians. It's like they don't look mixed. They look just.
But then you got
regular.
Damon. You got Damon's girls, so you know how it works. So anyway, yeah, that's not this episode.
That's not this episode.
Do you guys have any reviews? Oh, if I had to give Rings of Power anything between, sorry, I will get back to y'all. But if I had to give it out of 5. I'm gonna say a 3. If you're a fan of Lord of the Rings lore, not to the point of toxic, but if you're a fan of the lore, then this is something you'll enjoy to watch. It's a slow burn up until like episode 6, and there's only 8 episodes. So,
Edge Runners, I give a 3.5.
There you go. So
out of 5.
Out of 5.
Out of 5.
That's much higher than I was expecting for it. So
I was impressed.
Sure.
there you go. You guys got reviews for us before we jump into the She-Hulk?
Yeah, did you guys watch Werewolf by Night?
Yeah.
Marvel show? Well,
I almost did, but we chose to watch Hocus Pocus too.
oh, okay. That's fair.
Not this episode. Talk about that in therapy, right?
I don't know if you guys are going to review it later, but I thought it was good. I like the throwback to, all the like old horror movies like Wolfman, Invisible Man, The Mummy. Great diversity on that cast as well, and I really like how they did how they use color as part of the story as well. I don't want to give too much away because you guys haven't seen it, but I thought it was good. Yeah.
Out of 5, what are you giving it?
I think give it like a 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
That means
is
worth
this a
watch.
movie or a series?
No, it's not like a movie. I think it's like an hour and a half. It's
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna turn it into a series, but with Marvel, like eventually the
You'll
character will
see
probably
some of the
appear again.
characters again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
that's
think
all.
because of the success apparently of that's how they're introducing the X-Men or mutants, certain mutants.
To my understanding, yeah. There's talks about that. It's either that or Blade. This is supposed to help introduce the vampires for Blade's story, but
Right. Okay.
we'll see.
All right, we'll see.
But now the PA
Well, Lily didn't say it.
Lily.
She had any
Yeah,
reviews?
did you have anything?
I don't know anything that is like. I
Is
don't
there
know if
something
this
you
is
did
something well
or
known.
you watched that you liked?
Well, it doesn't have to because you know what? What I like about the bots is that they also talk about books, and
They do.
I want to get in on that, but like books take a lot of time. So
They'll call you for the books episode.
so if there's a book that you recently read that you like thought was dope or not dope,
I mean, so this is it's a TV show, a series that is on a channel called Acorn on Amazon. And Acorn TV is basically like British shows mostly.
Okay.
So it's this show called Recipes for Love and Murder. And it's, of course, the main star is white, older white woman, which I give them props for because, like, okay, cool. Putting someone out there who's over 40. But it takes place in South Africa.
Oh.
Yes. And this white lady, you know, the star, like she cooks all these things. I don't know. It makes me really hungry, but also a lot of it is stuff that I'm like, oh, lady, why are you cooking this really like ethnic food? Like, you know what you're doing. Also, there's like this really, I don't know if it's just me, but whenever there's a bunch of characters in there that have Dutch names and white characters, and whenever I hear those names, I have like this really visceral like revulsion it like hearing Dutch names in South
Colonizer effect.
Africa because yeah, I mean it's not like all of the colonizers were horrendous, but like the Dutch massacre of South of Africans was like especially horrendous. And so I don't know, but like on the surface it's kind of a cute show, but also I'm like there's a lot that I don't like about it, and I feel like that has happened with a lot of these shows, that these like sort of cozy-ish mystery adventure type shows that are usually British or Australian. Like I had that problem with what was that, the Australian lady in the 1920s solving mysteries. And
Miss Fisher's?
yes, I had that problem with Miss Fisher also.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yes, especially that movie that they made with her in like Egypt or something somewhere and all of that. I don't know. But I haven't really been satisfied with a lot of the TV that I've been watching lately.
That's fair.
It's real. That's why we gotta go pick up books. Apparently, I'm not doing it, but I'm just saying, you know.
Oh, I do have to recommend it's a graphic novel that started out as a webcomic, and it's called Lore Olympus. Yes.
I've heard of that. And
really
it's on my
good.
list.
It's really good.
Currently, I've been doing this rush to catch up on all Marvel comics, so I'm almost there. I'm at the end of August. I started in January of like being behind for like 6 months, so I'm almost caught up. But Lore of Olympus is on my list, and I will have to now try it because Lily was like, "Do it." So
Do it.
there we go. We got that soundboard on lock.
I really want a soundboard. Every time I listen to your podcast, I'm like, man, I gotta get me a soundboard.
Yeah.
It's the most fun that you'll never want to have because
They can get obnoxious.
So we're moving on. Thank you for all of those suggestions and reviews. If you like anything that you just heard, those will be in the show notes and point you in the right direction. Now to the big headliner. I don't know if it's something that everyone's excited for, but we're going to talk about it. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Attorney at law.
Problematic or no? Anyway, that's not it because that would be burying the lead.
It's getting ready to ribbit and rip it.
God.
Oh my God. No.
So, before we get into the bits and pieces and Easter eggs here, from a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, tell us how you felt about She-Hulk. Either one of you can go first.
All right.
If I must.
And that's the podcast. That's the episode. Ladies and
All right,
gentlemen.
guys. It's been have a blessed night.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We out.
I give it like a 2.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I saw
Likes
what
the
it
drink.
was trying to do.
I didn't.
I saw what it was trying to do. They did not succeed in my mind, but I saw them.
They were seen.
Okay. Now, before you go
Yeah.
any further, Jillian, because
Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
Lily.
I mean, well, first, I only made it through the first 4 episodes. So
Oh, you didn't finish it because
I
you
did
couldn't
not.
finish it.
I
Okay.
could not. No.
This is interesting.
I would give it like a negative 0.5.
Whoa. Whoa.
We don't have any graphics for that.
We
so-
don't. How do you make something invisible? That's it. Just straight up.
Like that dude at the end of Thinner, like that was, yeah, like I just didn't.
Got it. We'll get there.
Wow, this is gonna be wild. This is gonna be a crazy time. I give it like, honestly, at first I was like, but I give it I'll give it a 3.5.
Okay.
No, nay,
Nay.
3.7.
3.7.
Oh, okay, all right.
Slightly
Okay.
higher.
I mean, I guess that balances out. You know,
The negative.
I meant the
Lily's-
negative.
Right.
Gotta put some graphics up here,
Right.
man.
Like, what is he going to do without editing this video? All this free time. I'm also going to give it a 2. And we'll explain why. But this Booze News Reviews, I really wanted just to hear what the bots had to say about it first. Because there's some topics here that before we jump in, spoilers ahead. If you didn't watch it and you want to watch it, don't listen to Lily. Go ahead and watch it, and then come back, and then agree with Lily. Right,
Like
See
I
how long
didn't.
you can last.
right. How many episodes can you get through? Let us know in the comments.
I mean, I didn't really want to watch it. I was not that interested at all. But Jillian was
Okay.
like, "So I'm gonna contact the Blur Bar and see if they want to do like a collab." And I was like, "I guess I'll try it." Right. Of course, she said Tuesday at 9:30 recording, and I thought that was some nebulous Tuesday in the future. And
she's
not
like, nah,
today.
like
Right.
this today. This Tuesday.
There was
Defense, I
also
did
4
tell you about it last week.
I mean, you did. You absolutely did.
She was still like, I can't get through 4 episodes. This is just what it was.
Well,
It's fair, it's fair.
4 episodes was all that I could get through, like in a row, right? And I was like, I'm really not feeling this. Maybe I'll come back to it before we get on with the Blurred Bar, but the time just ran out. On
It's fine.
And you weren't pressed. You're
Right.
like,
I was-
the
Right.
time, life,
Yeah.
I just can't.
She just started like staring at the clock. She's like, spin.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, like I disassociate for like 2 hours every day, but that was better. than watching, you know.
I appreciate all the hard work you did for us. So that goes without saying, because if she did it for us, she did it because she cares about us. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done it at all.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
We're 4 hours worth.
We're worth 4 hours.
We're worth
We're worth 4 hours of Lily's time. That's good to know, right? Because in the future, we're 5 hours go by. She's like, it's time to go.
These Marvel movies are getting longer and longer.
Right. Be like, hey,
Wakanda
right.
4, I don't know if I got
Be invited
it.
to some like convention or something. She's like, y'all got 4 hours. I'm letting you know right now. That's it. It's like, you might even get 3.5. You know, that -5 is floating out there somewhere. It's got to be applied to something.
You're already starting on minus time, okay?
I'm letting you know I was supposed to leave yesterday. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the meat and the potatoes of this review.
Can I go first?
Yeah, because first of all, you have the most positive review out of everybody.
Yeah, so go ahead. Let's
keep it concise because we don't want to hear you start, praising this thing like it's
no.
better than what it is. So.
I mean, I think I also wonder how much you all have like either read She-Hulk or know She-Hulk.
0%.
Okay, cool. That's interesting.
Is that
That's
the question?
even more
Is that the
interesting.
question you want to field to the group? Because then I guess I
I
clock
got
out
some
at
knowledge.
I clock out about 75% of
Okay.
all the existing content for She-Hulk out there.
Okay.
Okay.
So I didn't have any prior knowledge to her. I thought that this show did not take itself too seriously in a way that I was like, I appreciate that this is not like they're not trying to make this high stakes when it's not high stakes. This is like a very much enjoyable kickback. Put it on, enjoy yourself. Like, yes, we're gonna give you some like Easter eggs, hashtag Matt Murdock, but like outside of that, it was just a really fun time that I didn't have to take seriously, and that I don't feel like I had to like watch with the intensity because I have to figure out or know the continuity continuity of like how it fits into like phase 4 of the you know what I mean, like it was just very much like a fun time, and I feel like they may have tried it before, or like what's his name, Moon Knight. I feel like Moon Knight felt like it was like such a big event, like it was so like, oh, the gods are going to destroy the earth, and it's just like, but why though? Like, just give me Moon Knight beating people up in the alleyway. Like, that's what he's known for. So let's get that. This was very much like she's a lawyer and she does law. That's her show. It's all about law and stuff. So that's why for me it was very much a very just good time in general. I enjoyed it. The Ribbit and Rip It thing, like that part, like his tagline was funny. He was a crappy character, but that tagline worked for me. So yeah, all in all, it was cool. I'm sure that there are nuances and maybe like problematic things that we can get into that I'm sure like after hearing them, like, oh, okay, I guess I see that point. But in general, for me, I was like, this was enjoyable. It didn't take itself too seriously. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably go in last just because it's comic book related, so it's easier for me to let everybody else talk before I just start like, pointing down. So don't want to do that. So Lily, Jillian, go ahead. Somebody. Dealer's choice.
Yeah, Lily, do you want to go? Because I've been taking it every time.
She's like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I don't want it to seem like I need to say something more than
She's like,
you.
do you see these shoulders? I'm carrying this.
No.
So I think
Yes, I need you to explain why you gave this a negative score from 4 episodes.
Yeah. I mean, so like the TLDR is that the comedy is really juvenile. The dialogue and the script, like the writers, like, I'm sorry, but I see stuff from like my 5th grader that is better writing than this.
Sheesh.
So I don't.
What were you expecting?
Well, so that's the thing, is that I probably was expecting something that was a little more Marvel-like. Like, this felt like, I don't even know. Like it felt like
Disney.
Two particular shows actually came to mind when I was watching this that was like some of the bits that were incorporated in this show, these other two shows did way better, and I'd rather be watching them. And one of the shows was Fleabag. Phoebe Waller-Bridge and the fourth wall breaking, quirky kind of whatever. She did that
I see
good.
it.
I didn't. And then some of the like antic type stuff, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, like Rachel Bloom, amazing. I just didn't.
I concede to those points.
Fleabag, isn't it like Emmy nominated unless, or it did win like some?
It won.
Then she's like, wasn't she the lady in Star Wars?
She was in Star Wars, wasn't she?
Was she?
We can find out.
Yeah, IMDb that.
But I feel like she has acting chops. The person in Fleabag, like,
oh yeah,
she's known
it's not
for
just
good
acting,
stuff.
but she's a director and producer, I believe.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she was in Solo.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, like I expected more from the show, I think. And maybe
I'm
that
not
was
mad. I'm just
because I didn't.
disappointed.
Right. Yes, exactly. And like, man, Tatiana Maslany, like, she's carrying a lot of weight, and not just as She-Hulk, but it just did not work for me.
I accept and receive everything you just said right now. The Fleabag connection is heavy, because that's a lot of people were drawing the comparison between that what She-Hulk was doing on like what Daredevil, not Daredevil, Deadpool.
Deadpool, right?
Deadpool, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because they're both superheroes who like break the fourth wall. I think that's kind of where.
But
that
I mean,
ends.
I'm saying Daredevil because he's in the show, but Deadpool does it in, I feel, a more nuanced way, which is weird to say for something that's so on the nose of breaking the fourth wall.
Also, let's, like, to Jillian's point, like, it was Disney. Like
Disney.
It was very much like, there's a sex scene. How do we know that there's a sex scene? Because we see their ankles and like clothes like leading up. Like if it was Daredevil though, like Netflix, it'd have been different.
There would have been some steam applied to the the scene a little bit.
So like I do get what you're saying, Lily. But I do think the Mickey Mouse handcuffs, like,
they be on tight.
Yes. Yeah.
My thing is though, they've showed that they can kind of go beyond that with like Moon Knight. You know.
Yeah.
Like, and I heard, I haven't seen Werewolf by Night, but I heard that also kind of strays away
it
from
was a
Disney
little
territory.
Yeah, there was actual blood shown on camera, not off camera.
Okay.
You know.
That's fair.
Yeah, there were, it was surprising when I saw it, but then I was like, well, it's a horror movie, so, like, yeah, that makes sense, so.
Right.
I
guess my thing really is, Jillian, how you said you saw what they were trying to put out, and I'm like, I didn't.
So,
I missed it.
that might also
What are they trying to
be because I saw the finale. I'm not trying to throw shade or anything, but like they kind of make it more like they are. It's about Jen taking agency over her life.
Okay.
And you know she has these two warring personalities of She-Hulk versus Jen, and like one episode's called Just Jen, and like she's kind of like having a trouble coming to grips with the two sides of herself, based on like what other people are saying. So when they have, you know, the finale where she's kind of figuring out that she can be both, and like she is one whole person. So like I get that, but I don't think they did it well. Like I don't know. I was thinking too much at one point, trying to make sense of it. It's like, oh no, you know, she's literally taking back her agency in the last episode. very blatantly. So I think that might be where it's coming from for me. So now I can look back and be like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. But I don't think they did it well. But there were a couple episodes, like, I forget, it was like 5 or 6. Like, there was one episode that I actually, like, later on that I actually really enjoyed. And I was like, oh, okay. So, like, maybe they just had, like, a rough beginning. But then, I don't know.
Which episode was that? Because this is a spoiler part. So.
Yeah, you can say it.
I'm trying to remember what episode it was. Let me, like,
I mean,
get
if
on
you
my
tell me who's in it,
computer.
I can tell you.
I mean, I have the IMDb page open.
Yeah, I'm
we
looking at the
got it
IMDb
open.
page.
Because to that point, I think
Might have been the retreat episode 7.
Okay, the retreat episode. I also I also liked the retreat episode.
Yeah.
Because it made sense to the story as a whole of her self-discovery.
Yeah.
Much more than the other episodes prior did. But
Yeah.
I'll get into my part in a second. But
Yeah, I guess I just felt like it was kind of a mess up until, you know, she's really kind of fitting into her skin. Like, I mean, like, we could go, like, the first episode where she's fighting with, Bruce, and, I don't know, it just seemed, like, so put on. Like, I get that she was mad, but it was also, like, I don't know. Like, Tatiana Maslany's a really good actress, so I'm like, what is going on right now?
I think that was when I was really disappointed. Like, if
Yeah,
you
and
watch
then also
Orphan
the,
Black, and then you watch this, and you're like,
yeah,
what
and I
happened?
get, like, taking away kind of, like, all the really high stakes, but I guess I'm also used to that, and maybe it's good to come out of that every once in a while, because it's not all about high stakes, like, you know, these crazy villains trying to take over the world. Sometimes it's just, like, kind of meeting these superheroes on a human level. So in that sense, you know, I see what they're doing, but I think the writing definitely could have been stronger.
this was the first time with watching a Marvel show that I wasn't actively thinking, where are they taking this? All the other shows like Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, like literally all the other shows, it's kind of like, all right, like, what's your end game here? This was the first time I was like, I'm here to enjoy the ride, and so far, I'm here for it. Like, it's silly. It's silly almost to the point of being campy, but not quite. I mean, Ribbit and Rip It was close, but like, it was just like,
very campy.
yeah, right. But like, yeah, it was just like, it was funny and it was silly, and I just, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I get that, because I'm like, oh, you know, all these Marvel movies are kind of the same. Like, you get, you know, the beginning, the hero's journey, and, like, there's a bad guy, and you have to, like, figure out your powers before you defeat the bad guy, and then there's, like, this penultimate end battle scene that's, like, awesome, and, like, just using Shang-Chi as a reference, like, a dragon that came out, it was just, like, so cool. Yeah. So I think, like, we're always kind of expecting that, and it's, like, a very comfortable form of storytelling. So, like, when this comes along, it kind of throws you off, and maybe that could be another reason why other people didn't like it. But, like, I'm fine with being thrown off, you know, it's good, but I wish the writing was stronger. That's, like, really my main bone of contention, because there were a lot of really good actors in it, too. Like, I love Charlie
I was
Cox.
excited to see a lot of these actors show up, and I don't really feel like they did.
Like, they didn't do much with them, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really felt like,
I mean, if you got time, if you got another 4 hours, by all means, go ahead and finish it.
Yeah, like, you know.
Eventually, I'm not saying you got to do it this year. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Season 2 is not coming out till 2024. You're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a season 2?
Unfortunately.
I think so.
Yeah, there's definitely one.
Yeah.
They've already started filming, so.
So
Oh, they did?
Wow.
Oh. I mean, fine. I mean, I'll watch it. I watch everything Marvel puts out anyway. But still,
That's right, because we don't know how to not say no.
I'm here for the
is-
journey.
Cobb
Yeah.
is watching this and she's saying like, "Are you guys enjoying yourselves though? Like that's a problem. Like
I
that's her biggest thing with
usually
Marvel."
do.
Like,
Cobb is like,
I
if you're in danger, say something.
right? Yeah.
And I agree with her there, but I think there were some highlights, and not to just
It didn't have a lot of cohesiveness. I think that's what really is
So-
my problem.
Yeah.
Like, there's being episodic, and then there's just feeling like a bunch of different vignettes that someone put together and called an anthology.
that's fair. I feel like there ends up being a cohesive story at the end.
Yeah.
That you're
Okay.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
get it.
Yeah.
This felt like if the MCU was an anime, this was a slice of life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was
yeah.
supposed to be. I think that was the intention. The commentary, some of it, I was like, I get it, but then sometimes the commentary wasn't cohesive to her actions. And I was like, as a cisgendered male, I can't really speak on this because I don't
yeah.
like. To me, this screams double standard. But I was like, I'm not allowed to say that, otherwise I'm on the list of, what are they called? Intelligentsia.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, you know what I don't want to be? It's those guys.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
As long as you don't have
Yeah.
a scarf, I think you're good.
right. But even then, I was just like, it made me afraid to disagree with the views being put out there.
yeah.
But I was also kind of like, I don't know if, as a father raising daughters, I would be like, this is content you need to watch. And so I was also like, I'll leave it there because I can't speak to the struggles of a woman. I also feel like, what they tried to do with the She-Hulk as far as dealing with her identities weren't the same that you have to navigate with the Hulk, because he actually has DID versus, his cousin who just happens upon this,
Right.
genetic mutation, and not a happy accident, obviously, but it keeps her alive.
Yeah.
And
An
so-
actual accident. Yeah.
Right. So, her warring with the identity of She-Hulk doesn't really happen, at least in the comic books, not really, because you're like,
Okay.
one, you go from being 5 feet to, like 6, 7, and obviously getting taller in the comic books as time goes on. And the origin of She-Hulk in the comic books is definitely problematic because they literally created her as a sex symbol. She goes along with all the other characters that they end up putting in a swimsuit edition. There's panels literally of her just being a sex symbol, and that's fine if that's her agency. If that's the way
Right.
she chooses to live her life. However, it was male writers writing these stories,
Yeah.
hence
Yeah,
problems. As time went on,
But also they did that to Steve anyway too. Steve
Right.
Rogers with the USO tour and
Yeah.
all
Exactly.
that kind of stuff that is
but
objectifying.
equality
But no,
without
it's-
saying it.
It's true,
So-
but I'm saying that part I would definitely not be surprised about.
Yeah. And I mean, that was her origins as far as the comic books were concerned. And Wolverine is one of the famous characters that sleeps around, but it was often pinpointed that she had went through all of the superhero guys and has a body count. And I was like, that's not something to focus on. Just as a decent human being, let it go. So I'm glad that they took her out of that direction for the most part for the character. They wanted to give her a dating life, and Jen wanted to live a normal life, while at the same time she's like, I got powers where my body genetically goes from this to a gamma radiated BBL. It is what it is. Sure, it is what it is. And that was kind of where I left it. And then moving on to the rest of the story of the world moving around her, it just felt like time stood still. Like every other character, with the exception of Daredevil, felt very 2D.
Yeah.
And even, I would say Daredevil was 2.5. And the reason why he was 2.5 is because we knew who he was before this.
Yeah.
And so this kind of felt like, all right, cool. This one day we'll see Charlie Cox again and Daredevil Born Again. It's going to be lit. Because we saw
Yeah.
him do his fight scene, and it was still very
Oh
cool.
man, that was so great.
I was like, so refreshing because
Yeah.
that's all we've ever wanted was Daredevil to keep doing this stuff. We
His
never
hallway
wanted everyone. We
fight
didn't ask for
scenes,
everybody
yeah.
else. Yeah.
I
We
love
never
how she
asked for it.
smashed into his hallway fight scene because, like, you saw the tension building and, like, the camera on him, and he's just, like,
Yeah.
hulking and, like, in the shadows and, like, getting all full Daredevil, and she's like, bam!
Yeah.
We're not
And
doing that today.
the meta-ness of it all, after a while, started to feel redundant. Because I was like, I get meta, at least fourth wall breaking meta. But after a while, it just was like, all right, we get it. The only refreshing thing I appreciated, and the reason why my score went from a 1 to a 2, was because of the finale episode where she talks to Kevin.
Yeah,
was
Kevin.
hilarious.
That wasn't
I
just
thought the
that
last
wasn't just
episode was
hilarious. That was
Yeah.
the smartest thing Marvel could have ever done.
Yeah.
Because it addressed the fact that Marvel does listen to its fans at the same time as actively ignoring the fans because like sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So,
I thought the final episode was hilarious and very smart and like the best episode.
I think
like,
that's probably one of the best Marvel show finales.
yeah.
And it saved the show because otherwise this would have probably been on my lower side of ranking
Yeah.
shows for the Marvel.
I will say, when I was thinking about it, a lot of my score came from the last
episode
being so good.
Yeah.
Not that for me the season was bad, but like that last episode was so hilarious. Like even the opening,
Yeah.
I was
The
like,
opening
that's
was
hilarious. That's funny.
homage to the
Yeah,
original.
that was good.
I was
yeah.
And I was
That's
like,
great.
this is great.
The only thing was, like, if you watch that at the last screen, I think, of her and Bruce standing in, like, the cool 70s outfits, I just thought, like, Mark Ruffalo looked so lost.
He looked lost and
He, like,
uncomfortable
did not know what to do.
because I don't know if he fully appreciated that reference.
Yeah.
But
I don't think
neither of
so.
them probably did, but I did. I was like, I loved that opening
Yeah.
credit. I mean, they obviously throw in the shoehorn of like the Incredible Hulk having a son.
I was about to ask. I was like, what do we feel about that? I was like,
The only thing that
Like,
bothers
we're
me
just
is
gonna walk right past this.
right. The only thing that bothers me about this is that like his haircut. Like
yeah.
he went to a barber and was like, "Give me the way back," and like I was like, "This is a problem."
I feel like, but I feel like I've seen him that way though.
No, you've never seen the Hulk's son
Scar?
with his hairline up here.
Yeah,
He
literally back
he
there.
went to a barber and asked for the LeBron James. You don't do that.
He told him, make
So-
my forehead bigger, please.
He was like, yeah, like you don't go to the barber and be like, I want to be bald, but give me the Stephen A. Smith. Like that, you don't do that. So, and if they ever come for me in these comments, they'll never see these episodes anyway. But
Never know.
right. But obviously, people want to know what happened on Planet Hulk, but I don't think we're gonna get that. Because if Scar showed up already, then that means we're not getting a Planet Hulk movie.
They literally shoehorned it in.
They
like,
really
hey
did. They
guys,
threw-
here's my son.
Right.
Next
I
screen.
the only reason why I disagree is the fact of when we got a Black Widow movie.
Right. But no other movies are really doing prequel stuff anymore.
I'm just saying we got a Black Widow.
We got a
movie,
Black Widow
so
movie
it's
because they
not-
promised her that and they had to do it at some
and they
point.
had
I'm
to
saying-
bring it
right.
through, yeah.
I'm saying it's not off the table.
It was in her contract. I don't think Mark Ruffalo
I
has
don't
that
think
contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're
He seems to like
negotiating
go
that
with the
anymore.
flow.
Disney has money.
Disney
They
got money
throw
to
a bag
spend.
at you to be like, hey, we're
And
doing
you know
this
what's
movie.
funny? It could probably be like a Disney Plus exclusive. It'll
Yeah.
just be like a bunch of shorts of like where he went.
Yeah.
But no one cares.
Yeah. Like what
say
happened
that.
on the way
I'll
to
watch it.
Thor's hammer.
I mean, I
Right?
would watch it. I don't
Yeah.
even know anything about Planet Hulk, so
They've already messed it up too much for me to get like the authentic feeling back. But
You're such a gatekeeper.
I'm saying they messed it up for me. I didn't say that Lily can't go watch it. I didn't say that. I'm saying for me, it's messed up because they already ruined it in Thor Ragnarok. So, it is what it is. And I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, but I didn't enjoy them ruining the potential story of like the Hulk being shot off into space and just becoming a king and then having to come back mad and like wreck everybody in the Marvel universe. Like that would have been a good thing to see. However, we don't see that. Anyway, wherever this She-Hulk takes us, I don't think it takes us very far.
Oh no. I like.
We just know that the Daredevil exists.
The low stakes in this show
Could not have been lower.
like I'm just like, and that's kind of why I was like, oh, this was just a fun ride. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think this is a show that you really have to dig deep on and take. Like, I think you can want better writing. I think that's totally
Right.
fair. But like I said, like the fact that I don't have to worry about the continuity of like how this fits into like the Marvel universe
That's
on a
true.
grand scale, I'm like, oh, it's a breather.
It was refreshing. Because I mean,
thank God, like
not Mrs., but Miss Marvel. Go ahead and press that button for me.
oh no, there it is.
Unpress that button, whatever that button was.
It's already pressed.
Okay. The Miss Marvel one, obviously sets up the Marvels movie, and you're like, okay, I have to go see that now. But
Yeah,
it is what it is. I'm fine with my score. I don't think I'd change it, even if I went back to watch it again. Lily might give it. She
maybe
might give it less of a score.
Get up above. Maybe I would get up above 0 though.
Maybe we could
get a 1.
We might get a 0 out of this.
We might get a
leaving.
0.5.
And obviously, for the barflies watching, if you have already watched it and have feelings on it, I think we've kind of reached a good point to stop here because we want to know how you feel. And if it's a negative 0.5, you know what I'm saying? Talk to Lily. Don't talk to us. 'Cause we can't do anything with your score if you give us negatives, right?
Right.
It's just empty
There's no
space up here. But if you got opinions, thoughts, comments, and concerns, we are available on the socials. Links always in the bio. The bots, you can follow them at Blurred on the Street, right?
I mean,
Yep.
let's let them tell the people's.
I mean, I follow them, so I know where to find them.
Yeah.
But
Blurred on the Street on Instagram, Blurred Street on Twitter, and Jillian, is there another social we have?
And it's blurred on. I believe it's blurred on the street on TikTok as well.
Hey, they got TikToks out here.
They be doing dances.
That's true.
No.
Jillian handles that. I'm
That's right.
too old for TikTok.
You're never too old for TikTok.
I can try.
That's what Gary Vee says.
You're right. You're never too old for TikTok. Apparently, we should have been on there ages ago.
Apparently.
Oh, we should
But-
have bought a house back in 2009. You know,
Sheesh.
back when I was like still in college. I think.
Like
Right.
what
Yeah.
money when the economy was crashing?
Doesn't matter. You had credit.
Yeah.
You could have gotten a Discover card.
Did
You could have done
I
it.
could have gotten a really bad, APR.
That's right. 25% APR.
And then
Yeah.
like gone to restaurants and they were like, no, sorry, we don't take Discover.
Yeah.
They just like laughed you out of the restaurant, walked you out the back door.
Like, we actually give Discover -5.
Right. And they tell you can't use the regular entrance to leave. And you walked in, and they're like, no, you leave the way every other Discover card member leaves.
Back way.
It's just on the little crawl space doggy
Alleyway
door.
the dumpster
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
It's like how we don't have graphics. We don't have an exit door
Right.
for Discover cards. It's actually the door out back.
They just put you in a UPS box, and they wait for you to get picked up, and then slowly shoot. That's right. We're talking about bad credit, because that's this episode.
There you go.
As we always like to say here, y'all have a blessed night. Peace.